And now we're going to talk about name variations and how to record them in FamilySearch. This is FamilySearch's official page on how to enter names. Capitalization should be just normal. Women, in the vital section, you use their maiden name. If you don't know the maiden name, leave it blank. And then under other information, you put in the married name, or if you want. We'll discuss that some more here. With the immigrant ancestors, quite often we see they change their names. So use the name that they are most commonly known by. Put all the other names in as alternate names. There are spaces to put in titles and suffixes. Avoid using words that are not names. Don't use child, infant, mother, wife, any of those things. So if you don't know the name, you just leave it blank. So here I was adding a child. If he had a title, perhaps it was Don Gennaro. You could put the title in there. Perhaps he was Gennaro Piscitelli III. The third would go in here. If this were a woman and I did not know the maiden name, we discussed that, you just leave this blank. Let's say it's a child that died as an infant. You don't know the first name, you leave that blank. These are some variations that I encounter a lot. Don't assume just because the name is not spelled the way you're used to spelling the name, that the name is wrong. My husband's family, there's a group that the name was Fonzo. They started to go by Fonts. I have family members that are Marlowe. Sometimes it's with an E on the end, sometimes it's not. That one just depends on how they felt like writing their name. FamilySearch has a very good search engine. It can often find misspellings. I would not put misspellings in as a general rule, but there are some things that it doesn't quite get, like Pascal and Pascal, the two different spellings. If I search for one, it will not bring up both of them. Carmina and Carmela. I had a birth record for Carmina and a death record for Carmela, and for a year I thought they were two different people. Turns out they were the same, and as I've continued my research, I find that that name is used interchangeably. Bowenzy and Bovenzy. That's the same family name. FamilySearch does not recognize those two names as the same. Italian and Latin do not have a J. This is in handwriting. This J looks like a J, but it's for a certain I sound. When I type it in, I use the I. Some people use the J. FamilySearch does not recognize these two names as the same. So you really have to put in the alternates. Nunziata often went by Nunzia. Michelangelo often went by Michel or Angelo. If I type in Michel Picardi, Michelangelo Picardi probably won't come up. So that's why you put in the variations. Don't just make up variations. Make sure that they are, that you have sources for them, that they are in the records. So here I have Thomasina Lofredo. She is married to a Pascal. I spelled it S-Q-U-A-L-E, and I happen to know his last name, but for our example, I left it out. She doesn't show up when I'm searching with the P-A-S-Q-U-A-L-E. I spelled it C-A-L-E, and there she is. That was what I was telling you, that FamilySearch does not recognize the two spellings on that name. Here I spelled it wrong again, but I put in the surname and she will come up because it recognizes the surname. Okay. This person is Domenico Francesco Di Pascal, the C-A-L-E. last name this time. I have a record where it's spelled with the Q. So I went here, click other information, add information, alternate name. And then I said also known as Domenico Di Pascal, and I got that information from his son's marriage record. Now you type in either name, the search engine will find it. Also known as, when you click on that box, you get several choices. Also known as birth name, married name, or nickname. So if you have a wife and you don't know the maiden name, and that happens a lot, you could put in her married name here so that, again, when you search for it, the search engine will find her with that married name. But you don't want to put it in the vitals. You want to put it in as an alternate name. One of my pet peeves, it's Giovanni Di Costanzo. Someone has come along and they have Americanized the name. Put it in quotes. You don't do that. It's one name or the other. In this case, I'm going to give it to him that this person probably is, quote, no sources, knows him better than I do. I probably knew him just as a spouse to somebody else I was researching. So I'm fine. Let's go with the Americanized name. This is FamilySearch. It's a world tree. We have to play nice with each other. I don't always have to be right. It doesn't have to be my way, but it does have to be the right way. So we're going to change this just a little. Fixed it so it's the Americanized name, John Di Costanzo. And then in the alternate name, birth name was Giovanni Di Costanzo. And I put in birth name because I had a birth record for him. And I attached that under sources. This one I'm not comfortable with because this is not the way I do it, but it's not wrong. And again, play nice on FamilySearch. In many South American countries, a surname is created by using the father's surname and the mother's surname. So she is Rosa Gallo Paola, or however you pronounce that. I know her as Rosa Gallo from the sources I've attached. So I just added it as an alternate name. The sources I had were a death record and a marriage record. So I did not know her birth name. Could be different. So I just said also known as. This one, playing nice on FamilySearch, but this one always bothers me. They had no sources. The source I added later on because I had found the birth record. That's why I put in Gennaro Gallo as the birth name. I had the birth record. Had a hard time finding this. I was glad I had put in the alternate name because I knew Gennaro was January in Latin. So I was assuming that this was the Latinized name, that they had found this from a church record. But Italian and Latin do not have a J. So I was looking for the name with an I, and it was not coming up. I finally found it using Gennaro Gallo. So I would like to change that to an I, the proper Latin spelling. I don't know where they got it. Could be right in their culture, could be a document they have. I decided just to leave it alone. I'm good enough with my alternate name here. So at this point, I think we've discussed everything you might need to know about adding names to FamilySearch. And next we can move on to dates. Thanks for tuning in.